I was thinking about rejoining Mensa. I was a member in the U.S., and I'm not a member now, but I might rejoin. And it's an interesting thought because there's a lot of people who get real pissed off if you say you have a high IQ. And, they couch that in different ways. God dang it, my shoe's untied again. I don't know if there's some kind of special shoelaces you got to get that stay tied, or if I can spray them with something. Anyway, the thing is that, I'm on various social forums, of course, and if you do mention that you have a high IQ, people immediately ascribe to you a level of arrogance that you may in fact not have. I have no arrogance about it. It does mean something. Being able to do well on IQ tests, which I do well on. I did well when I was very young and was able to go to a private school for 3 years because of that. But to be honest, I preferred public high school. I went to high school after that. I went to middle school and private school. And, I joined Mensa later, so I must have taken some kind of test to get in that school. I don't remember that test. But later, I took a Mensa test to go to college. I had never applied to college before. I only applied to one and got in. But I thought that having things on my application would matter. And I don't think being a member of Mensa mattered at all. But that was the original reason I joined. It wasn't for any other reason. So I went to the big city and took a test and paid a fee, and then I got a little magazine. I never even went to a single event, which is too bad because there is probably some correlation between people having a high IQ and being more aware of a lot of stuff. They learn for fun. They like solving puzzles. They like thinking about things in different ways, a variety of ways. And I've been hesitant to say at times, I said it online occasionally, that I have this high IQ. It's 160, 165, something like that. Pretty fucking high. But the thing is that so many people have a negative reaction like I think I'm better than them. That's not true. Having a high IQ means you do well on IQ tests. It might correlate with other stuff, but it doesn't mean you're a nice person. It doesn't mean you make good decisions in life. It doesn't mean that you're better. Certainly, if we look at the converse and we say very low IQ can be a problem, well, yeah. The military, U.S. military, won't take people with an IQ under 80. No big surprise. 80 is a really low IQ. But you could be a very nice, sweet, good person. They just want people who can solve certain types of problems. And they're starting to figure that, below 80, you might have trouble with some things that are real basic for other people. So why would I join now? Is actually because I'm relatively lonely. I live out in the forest alone. And I have a great place for hosting people. And if the theory is correct that people with high IQ do correlate with more interesting people, which I think they will to some degree. Although there's so many kinds of interesting people that it's almost irrelevant. But I've thought about many types of groups of people I could bring here. Musicians, creative people of various kinds. I want to make a maker space. I like people who are into plants. I like to invite every plant geek in the country here. Bamboo geeks, orchid geeks, whoever. Lots of kinds of people for really intentional activities. And one of the things that's interesting is that, I was bullied, of course. A lot of people were bullied, but, I was a scrawny little smart guy who talked funny and didn't really grow up in the culture I was living in. I was like a foreigner in my own country. Very much so. You know? I didn't grow up with the music that my generation supposedly did. When people talk about my generation, they always refer to shit that had nothing to do with me. I mean, of course, I remember rotary phones and stuff, but I wasn't even allowed to listen to secular music, you know? So, I've never really fit in anywhere. There's never been a group I've been part of that I felt really part of. And being a white male is not a very good group to be in, because everybody fucking hates them, and where I come from, there's a ton of them. And they hate them unreasonably, my opinion. But anyway, so I thought about joining, and even like buying a sweatshirt or something, and being proud to some degree of the fact that I have a high IQ, or at least not ashamed. You know, because a lot of people are actually ashamed of that because, well, like I said, I got beat up. You know, and if you present in society, if you present complex ideas, nuanced thought, contradictory views, which I can hold contradictory views in my mind because it's a complex world. And I can have great empathy for people who disagree with me instead of just demonizing and fucking hating them. You know, I'm just about to cut all those fuckers out of my life. I will cut people out because they're bigots against the other side. In some rare cases, well, I don't know if it's rare or not, but I have some pretty weird views. I'll cut people out who I agree with their conclusions, but they're being fucking assholes about it. Like, being an asshole, no matter what demographic you're in or what you believe, you're still just an asshole. So fuck off. I don't want you to know you. You know, and I don't like gender war bullshit, race war bullshit, nationalism shit. All this is just crap. And I'm working on solutions as best I can, and talking to some people online who are also working on some solutions that are related. But, you know, the cost of membership probably isn't that high. And I would probably get access. I assume they don't have a magazine anymore. God, it's been a slippery trail again. I hate this slippery trail. I only fell once really bad on it in the last decade or so, but I wonder how many times I've been on this trail. Anyway, so if I invited them, they'd be, first of all, the only ones that would show up would be pretty hardcore, because it'd be a camping event. I have some cabins and shit, but it'd be cold a little bit, and you know, not very fancy. And you know, I don't have to have it twice. I don't have to make an annual event. I could just have a one-time Mensa gathering. I could invite the whole world, anybody in Mensa, or that other one. There's one other organization for even higher IQ people, which I don't know what the cutoff on that is, or if I would be able to get into it, but I'm not that motivated. But I could just invite them as a blanket invite anyway. It's a smaller organization. And just charge them. And I wouldn't have to deal with, well, I'd like to say I wouldn't have to deal with the same kind of idiots I have often dealt with, but the thing is that the idiots I've dealt with haven't been because of a lack of mental processing. It's been because they're, you know, spoiled, rich children of the industrial world who want to travel for free. You know, they say they'll help you. Many of them never had jobs. They grew up with trust funds. And I just accidentally hosted a lot of people who were terrible. Now, the majority were really great. And so I hate to say that because one of them might see this and think I'm talking about them, and I'm probably not. But, you know, I've had to kick people out because they have anger issues, because they creep out chicks a lot. There was one guy kicked out for that, who immediately then called me a racist. But the chicks were very happy because it was just me, him, and then some chicks there. There's 4 chicks, I think. And they were just creeped out as fuck by him. He was acting totally inappropriately. And then later I found out he had been kicked out of the last community he had gone to. So, and then they hadn't told me that, even though I'd asked. And then I asked why you didn't tell me, and they said, well, we, didn't want to say bad stuff about us, and it's like, oh my God, this is how these sociopaths just go from community to community. Anyway, my expectation, realistic or not, is not that all of these Mensa people would be particularly great people, but I think that they wouldn't do some of the dumb shit that other people do. Like, does IQ correlate with empathy? I don't know that it does. I mean, you could be a fucking serial killer and have a high IQ probably. It's just, all it means is you can do well on an IQ test. And so the people who don't understand IQ overinflate that, and they may have met assholes who had a high IQ, and then they associate that as being everybody in that demographic, which is the same as any other kind of bigotry that people fall for. Oh man, I gotta figure out some different walks to go on. This walk is pointless. It's boring. The problem is, in a lot of my walks I go on, over the last couple of years, I've walked and explored in places that are really hard to walk, and you have to crawl over barbed wire fences and shit. My legs are still messed up because I broke them a while back. It sucked. But the problem is, I'm alone in a place with no cell phone service. I could just twisting my ankle would be bad enough. But what if I break my leg? And so I don't like going on those hikes anymore alone, because I feel, scared, and reasonably so. So what else on IQ shit? Does it correlate that people with high IQs read more? Probably. I mean, I'm constantly. I guess I can't use myself as an example, because I'm just one person. But I mean, I am fucking voracious. I've been watching movies lately with, having a notepad open so I can take notes on thoughts I'm having, sometimes of which are inspired by the movie or not. I do miss some of the movie. Multitasking, from what I've read, is largely a false thing. And if you actually measure people's attempts to multitask, they don't do that great. And that would actually be a really fun activity to have a group of people who are up for being part of an experiment, of which anyone who comes around me should be, because I consider the entire world a toy and people as art supplies. But I kind of like saying that because it sounds bad, I guess. But no, I see people as people. Although a lot of people would really enjoy being art supplies and experimental subjects. So anyway, that's another good question would be, is if there was a Mensa gathering, right? If I invited these Mensans, all of whom were self-selected to be the kind of people who want to camp out, so they're already slightly more adventurous. I'm stereotyping, but I think that's also a reasonable stereotype. People who are willing to go somewhere and camp out, different class of people. Of course, they could car camp. I'm all in favor of that too. So it wouldn't have to be very difficult camping. And also, one of my many tasks is to set up like a van lifer, RV campground type space, with composting toilets and things to make it be easier. But the list of things I want to do is very long. But one could easily imagine then, well, if you have these theoretically smart people who think they're all so smart, hopefully not all arrogant pricks, because I have known some really smart people who were arrogant pricks, and that's annoying. They shouldn't do that. But you could think of, if they understood where they were going to and they were up for it, we could play all kinds of games. We could even just have deeper conversations about, what is the survey of positions on statement X, thing X, right? And then why do you believe that? And have this really open dialogue, and have one of the rules be that you are nice to people. because we are not going to agree about everything. And if we can't fucking talk about it in a pleasant way, we're going to get nowhere. You know, the recent election was just depressing. And the things that my theoretically nice friends say are evil and mean as fuck. I mean, it's just terrible to find out that your theoretically nice friends are fucking bigots against the other bad people. And it's like, well, that's kind of why we're in the boat we're in. You know, I mean, like, can't we have a moderate? And I don't mean moderate like wishy-washy, but one that is in favor of following the law, wants a free and prosperous country, doesn't want wars all the time, doesn't want to have the highest prison population in the world, wants the justice system to actually be just, you know, and not going around rioting and breaking shit. That's not how you get justice done. But I mean, I consider it make a list like with the, for example, the Black Lives Matter movement, it's a shitty movement. You know, I can think of like 6 things right away they should actually have demanded. Like, let's get rid of pretrial diversion. Let's make jury nullification be an option that you can actually talk about, because you can get thrown off a jury if you even mention it. Let's get rid of civil forfeiture, which is just a way to steal from people. I mean, the cops steal more than criminals, if you add it up, and the state certainly does. The state absolutely enslaves people. It's really fucked up shit. Anyway, yeah, obviously I have a few strong opinions myself. So, and I have trouble with the people, though, that just... that's why I don't have people here anymore. It's because of a small minority who are assholes. Because they sure as hell all weren't. In fact, most of them were really nice. And it is true that I let too many people stay for free, which was a bad choice on my part. And now my place is dirty and beat up, and I'm kind of cranky. So I don't have as much to offer anymore as I used to. Oh, it's beautiful out. So yeah, that's why I'm thinking I might join Mensa again. And also just as a rebellion against this idea that I should be ashamed of having a high IQ. Because I'm not a person who thinks it makes me better than anyone. Being kind matters more than being some sort of intelligence. I mean, past a certain level, what does intelligence really even serve you for? You know, I mean, yes, I've been paid big money by a corporation to think about things in really complex ways most people couldn't. And that's cool. But for most people, most day-to-day activities, having a high IQ is really irrelevant. And having an EQ, emotional quotient, which however you measure that would be very, very, very difficult, since people do not agree on that. You know, am I the asshole or not? Questions. I think with most of us, the answer should be yes. In some way, you probably are. It's just how shit goes. We are people. So yeah, maybe I'll join that just because there's the off chance I might meet some nice people out of it. And I really want to meet nice people, and I really want to meet people I can trust, because I don't trust hardly anyone anymore. It's getting worse. I will add one other thing is, if you haven't heard about it, it's the dead internet theory. Look that up. It's on Wikipedia. It has a theory that at some point the internet has more bullshit fake content than real content. You've seen social media systems that become nobody real, you know, where there's some real people, but it's mainly just bots and spam and lies and misinformation, and that can be fixed by rewriting the whole internet, which isn't even that hard. It's not difficult. The things that you have to add to it are verified identity, and you could still have people be able to use pseudonyms online, but they have a verified identity, that they are a real person. They're vouched for by other people. 2, reputation tracking, so that people are agreeing to a social contract of behavior. And hopefully this internet would also promote and support real world interaction, like trade, so that the only ads you would see would be from people you trust, or maybe friends of friends. But no more scammers. Anybody coming to stay with me would have a reputation that they can build over years. And I know that they're not the usual kind of assholes. I haven't seen a good reputation tracking online yet. Some websites have tried. But, make a YouTube that is just people who create real content. Make Quora a system where people actually are contributing their own stuff. Probably cut out all AI content. I mean, I currently do a cut and paste AI answers into Quora, and that's mainly to keep notes and about what I was thinking about. And if AI has the best answer, that's fine. And you could always have links to AI, that's just fine. But like right now, I noticed my Facebook feed, there's none of my friends even on it hardly. It's just like sponsored shit. And lately I've been hitting the button that says don't post anything from this group again. But that probably means I'm going to have to hit that button, 50,000, several 100,000 times just to clean up my feed and make it a useful thing again. The internet is being broken. It is broken. It's dead. So, bye. I gotta see how beautiful this is. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but the sun is just all shining on the nice little grasses. It's beautiful. Beautiful.